And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 126th episode of Hex Therapy Live. I'm your host, Maddie ALLin, and I've got a great show for you tonight. It might not be a long one, but I think you'll learn a lot. That's the goal. And so thanks for being here, everybody. Hit the like and subscribe button now. Go ahead and validate that like button, as we like to say in the cryptocurrency space. So welcome to the show. I'm going to go over what it is that PulseChain is waiting on. The latest update that we heard in the last couple of days is that the Shanghai upgrade is being pushed through to the version 4 of the PulseChain testnet. I'm going to tell you why I think the price of Hex is down today and give you an update on Time Pays Me. So welcome.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HexTherapy.live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research.
Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome.
There's nothing that a human being can do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Maddie ALLin's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff, like, as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.
Now, I've got to say, first topic, I was pretty shocked today when I was testing some stuff out on my Trezor, and I realized that in setting up a new one, there is somewhat of a bug, you could say, in the setup where if you're linking it through to MetaMask, let's say you're setting up your Trezor and your PIN, it'll allow you to have a PIN code that's longer than is what will actually end up working. And so I had made my PIN too long, and then it failed every time I was trying to authenticate it with MetaMask, and I had to set it up again. So the bad news is everything in crypto sucks. It's a miracle any of this stuff works at all. The good news is we're definitely early because it can get a whole lot simpler and better. And that's one of the things that I think all of us in this space are interested in. We want to see crypto get better, whether it's being able to reverse a hack or have the latest Ethereum upgrades included in PulseChain, having low fees like PulseChain can deliver better than Ethereum. We think, all this stuff, being able to pay your future self and save yourself from yourself, all this would be really great to be able to do with all of crypto. So that's where we're at. I gets me a little bit upset sometimes whenever I see that MetaMask is so bad it isn't playing nicely with Wallet Connect and all of these other issues. So that's okay. We've got a lot of we've got a lot of progress to be made, and it should be all good. So anyway, we've seen the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum bouncing around in the past couple of days, pretty serious swings. And there was a rumor yesterday that maybe the government was selling some of their Bitcoin that they had seized. That certainly could have been the case because there was a wick down like 10% and then went back up again. Normal volatility in crypto. But the thing that is surprising some people is that the price of Hex didn't play along with the rest of the market and has been dropping to the downside right now. Ethereum is sitting about even from 24 hours ago. Even though I scooped up one ETH, I would say when it went down to like maybe 1800 or something, and it went down all the way to like 1750, and then right now it's sitting at 1900. But the point of the story is, why is Hex sitting at 5.3 cents, down 7 or 8% in the past 24 hours? I want to say that I read on Twitter that the base contract unlocked. So the Maximus DAO tokens got released from the first year-long staking contract. And I haven't seen anybody say or heard anybody say that they think that was it, but I think that could be it. People who were locked up, now they can sell all of a sudden. So maybe the chat can confirm whether that's really the case or not, or whether that's, still yet to happen. But I think another short-term dump-mental, could be that the traders just getting out of the trade of waiting for PulseChain to launch, because it seems like we are so close to PulseChain. And we knew that it would be a wild ride. We knew that even the liquidity providers, they would be wanting to get out of their LP positions so that they make sure that they get their copy on PulseChain of Hex and don't get fixed by the fixer bot. So that's going to lead to more volatility when there's less liquidity in the market, right? And so we've been predicting this the whole time, that the price of Hex would show off its feature of volatility, right? It's a feature, not a bug. And hey, for people who do like trading, what a great opportunity to see these swings up and down, up and down. I think I saw Hex trade it maybe a little bit over 7 cents at one point in the past couple of days. Now it's down to 5.3. So really, really interesting to see that. But if you're being long-term minded, then you might not be focused so much on that. But yeah, so shout out to everybody who's here in the live stream. I've been really impressed that over 4,000 people watched last week. So that's pretty cool. We have 75 watching live right now. And of course, we had a great episode of Game Theory Gang this past week on Tuesday. David Feeder talked about his validator store. And now that's one of the main points that I wanted to make today, is that we finally got word from Richard that the PulseChain testnet v4 will be upgrading to the latest version of Ethereum 2.0. And the latest version of Ethereum 2.0, it allowed for withdrawals just about 2 weeks ago, I believe. And the name of this Ethereum upgrade, it's kind of funny because we used to call it the Shanghai update. And then it got combined with another update called Shapella. And so the devs the Ethereum devs in their infinite wisdom, they merged the two names of Shanghai and Shapella and came up with Shapella. And they spell it differently all over the place, right? So that's fun. But to me, it sounds like the Chappelle Show. It's Shapella, but I call it the Chappelle Show update. And maybe it's not supposed to be so funny, but there it is. This is what's allowing validators to be able to withdraw their coins. And they can't withdraw all at once. There are special rules about taking turns for withdrawing, but that's, of course, one thing that had been uncertain for a lot of people following along with the Ethereum price. A lot of people predicted that there would be a dump, and sure enough, the price of Ethereum didn't suffer majorly, and it's been trading around the same. Really, it seems like Ethereum is tracking the price of bank failures more than anything. We saw one more bank failure in the past week, and the price of Ethereum, of course, it's going to trade with Bitcoin. And if the government sold a bunch of Bitcoin, you can see that that would have affected the Ethereum market as well. But the moral of the story is that the price of ETH did not crash 50% when people were allowed to start withdrawing from their validators. Of course, people who had been staked with 32 ETH for over a year, they got to start taking turns, basically. There are two types of withdrawals that occur, full and partial, with this upgrade. And the full withdrawal allows validators to exit their stake completely, taking their entire balance of ETH, including the original 32 ETH, as well as any rewards they may have accrued. Partial withdrawals only allow validators to access the excess balances over 32 ETH needed to run a validator node. With every single block that's added to the network, 16 validators are able to make partial withdrawals. And in essence, a total of 1,800 validators can unstake fully. So yeah, that's the big upgrade. I was speculating that we might not get this right away in PulseChain. because that could be a hidden pumpamental. But sure enough, here it is, with Richard indicating that maybe in the next 24 hours or so, that's when the update will occur on the PulseChain testnet v4. We've also seen, one of the PulseChain devs has been very active on Twitter, seemingly very excited, which is great. And our very own Hex Tangent has been running a Twitter Spaces for about a day and a half now straight. And he's really bringing a lot of hype, saying that he will keep streaming live until PulseChain launches, as long as it doesn't interfere with his weekend plans, and which is hilarious, right? So, but you can see the confidence in Ivan on Tech, who predicted that PulseChain would launch this week. Hex Tangent predicted it would launch this week. I'm not so sure. I could see it launching in a couple days from now or later. I could see maybe a week from a couple days from now. So that's kind of the time range that I'm looking at, but it's certainly getting close. Yeah, I think that the dumpers are selling the news, but also could be people who are locked up in base for a certain amount of time. Let's see. People saying that that they enjoy Hex meetups. Yeah, of course, people have seen me at the Hex meetups that I've hosted, and right now there's a Hex meetup going on at Consensus, which is one of Ethereum's top 3 conferences that they do, and a really big in Web3 and the entire Ethereum network. And so definitely cool to see Westcott Crypto, meeting all of the crypto celebrities there. Funding Jim is out there representing. They all took pictures with Wendy O and Ran Nooner. I've gotten pictures with just about everybody in the Bitcoin side of things, the Bitcoin royalty, so to speak, but really haven't gotten a chance to take pictures or meet any of the Ethereum, like influencers that are so big. So that'll be something I'll be looking forward to. If my collarbone wasn't still broken, then I would have been there in Austin, Texas already for this week. But I guess I'll have to catch the next Ethereum conference that they have. So yeah, Hex Tangent is awesome. Definitely follow him. Let's see. Do you think Jack could break PulseChain? No, I think that's a joke. Let's see. Crypto Gains Club, good to see you. People are guessing Cinco de Mayo. There you go. Somebody's asking about Russia using Bitcoin to get around sanctions. I mean, I think geopolitics, like sometimes it gets hyped up, sometimes it doesn't. I think it's relevant. I don't have a particular opinion on this particular issue. I think that Russia likes to get headlines, and politicians like to hype up the the fights with Russia. I know that Russia has been extremely sanctioned by the US, and so that lots of people have opinions on all of that. I think that there's not a whole lot more to say about that. People using Bitcoin, I mean, governments, they're probably going to use it at some point. So not super surprising. If it's really censorship resistant money, then you would expect people who need censorship resistance to be using it. And so definitely not what the Bitcoiners are bragging about, right? Yo, Kincaid Honey, excited for Miami. That's right. I just got done rushing up, right? Speeding up the shipments of our gear that we're going to get to pass out there to make sure it'll be here in time. what's the best way to hear about launch as soon as it happens? I would say turn on notifications for Richard Hart's Twitter, and also the Telegram group t.me/hex news. Definitely gonna hear probably in those two places. Let's see. So in other news, I'm gonna share my screen here if I can. I did my first giveaway of this type, where I'm talking about Time Pays Me, which is coming along really well. I'm going to give you guys an update here on how Time Pays Me is going. I think somebody in the audience was the one who actually won this giveaway, which is really cool. So the tweet, which I asked people to retweet and get the word out about, and I appreciate you all for doing that. I'm gonna put the link in the YouTube right now, but this is a seed phrase that I intended to get hacked because I wanted to prove that the old system is not as good as the new system that I'm developing for having a second seed phrase to back up your first seed phrase. And so I gave away, so to speak, 0.0369 ETH, about $69, to prove a point that crypto needs a way to be able to undo a hack with self-custody. And now this is not, if you read the fine print there, this is not a seed phrase that's protected by Time Pays Me. Time Pays Me is still going through the multiple audit process that that I said would happen. It's not just the code audit that's happening, but there needs to be auditing of all the logic that's involved. The code auditors do a really good job of that already, but we have such a high standard because we're creating a tool that myself, I'm going to be using it. I'm going to be locking up stuff at least a little bit for 55 years. I'm going to be doing a $10,000 lock, and that's not for 55 years, that I'll release the seed word to. So this is just kind of a warm-up round. And what you'll find is, as I'm doing this marketing, basically, of showing people that you can take one seed phrase and it can get compromised and you still can't hack the funds, that's going to be the next step, basically. So the next time you see me releasing seed words, you might not be able to actually get away with any of the money because it'll be protected by Time Pays Me. Now, as we're getting closer to launch, I'm learning more and more, and I have to set up my own wallets so that they will exist forever. The blockchain, it lasts forever. And so that's why we want to get it right from the beginning. We've had people testing the code on testnet. We've been running hundreds of lines of code ourselves to check every function that can happen, and making really great progress. I will tell you though, it's the greatest challenge I think of any software ever, is to make blockchain software. And so I can definitely appreciate the care that Richard Hart and his team are giving to PulseChain, because I can see even from this project that have to get it right. The entire reputation rides on perfection and flawless operation. And so that's why I'm excited to be the one delivering and hooking people up with this new technology. And I think, as I've said before, a lot of big influencers who don't like Hex, they've started following me and signaling that they're interested in this technology of having a second seed phrase to be able to undo a hack. So this was just a fun test. And I think going forward, sometimes I will release seed words that are protected by Time Pays Me, and sometimes I'll release seed words that are not. And so it'll be a fun way for you to always be able to pay attention. And if you're the first one to plug in the seed words and it's not protected by Time Pays Me, then you get to take the money, right? In this first example, somebody got to take the $69 worth of ETH. So that's pretty cool. And I really appreciate people retweeting this and getting the word out, because I think that this is something that can help beyond our own bubble of people in Hex and PulseChain and PulseX. And of course, this is also a technology that can put people in the mindset of delaying gratification, because it allows you to time lock any ERC20 or PRC20 token or the native coins, Ethereum or PulseChain. Allows you to time lock these with a weekly drip up to 55 years, a minimum of 1 week. And that's a really beautiful thing, because people can sometimes have such mad gains that their paper hands can't even hold on. A lot of us in Hex, if we've been here from the beginning and dollar cost averaged in over the first 6 months, you're up 1,000 to 2,000x. But I know I wouldn't have been able to survive that kind of run up if I wasn't time locked and staked out on a yearly basis. And so having a time pays me vault where you've time locked your, let's say, Ethereum, it's like having a continuous staking ladder. The amount of the percent of coins that you can withdraw on any given week is the same as the percent of time that you've served. So if you time lock for a year and you serve a week, that now you can withdraw 2% of your coins, because 1 week is 2% of a year. If you wait to withdraw for 6 months, then you can withdraw 50% on a year-long time lock. If you're locking for 10 years, then move the decimal place one point, and a week is 0.2% of 10 years. And of course, a year is a tenth of 10 years. So you can do the math of how much you can withdraw at any given point. But it gives a really beautiful way to protect yourself from yourself. For me, I'm thinking about locking up half of my PulseChain and PulseX tokens so that I can drip those out to myself over time and not be tempted to sell on a 10x, because when everybody sells on a 10x, then the price can go up way more than that if the people who are buying aren't ready to sell right away. And of course, people time locking, it's good for short-term and long-term holders, because it creates more scarcity in the here and now. Well, it can be good for long-term holders, because people might continue to be time locking, or people might have different time horizons that spread the coins out over time. You could take something that's inflationary, and if enough percentage of the people holding it decided to time lock it, it could flip into a deflationary period of time. If you take something that's already deflationary, you could speed up the deflationary process and move out the distribution of coins over time. It's a lot like having a truth engine in Hex when we look at people time locking with time pays me. And even though you don't earn yield from time pays me, that still allows Hex to be the best, to be special. And the people who don't understand time locking, they can use the truth engine and save themselves from themselves with Ethereum if that's what they like. And then over time, they can learn why Hex is better than they could have imagined, right? And on top of that, we've had people like Steph from Staker App brainstorming live with me and saying maybe someday he could airdrop some coins to people who are time locking with time pays me. That is something that will be possible by any group of developers, being able to airdrop tokens to people based on maybe how long they've locked or what coins they've locked, that sort of thing. So even though in time pays me, there's no explicit yield that's generated by early end stakes or by inflation, because in fact, there's no coin associated with time pays me. There's no sacrifice associated with time pays me. It's a pretty beautiful thing that some of your yield or return that you're getting could be coming from airdrops. We love airdrops in crypto. Airdrops rock. And so that also speaks to the decentralized nature of the product and the sense that it could grow beyond just the principle that people are putting in. So very, very cool. Let's see. People can still hear me in the chat. People are guessing that PulseChain will launch on 5/5 at 5:55. What is the max locking time for Time Pays Me? It's exactly 55 years. So that's cool. Hey, RH Max Raid, appreciate it. Yeah, I pretty sure I raided you a couple weeks ago, so appreciate the raid back. I tried that but couldn't get it to work. Okay, so you tried to use the seed words to recover the ETH. I was so confused. I felt bad taking the money, like I was hacking somebody. Well, I hope I made it pretty clear that you were allowed to take it. It was a giveaway that was happening to prove a point that having a single seed phrase and having that leak is, going to lead to funds being up for grabs. And I think it's really cool that a fellow longevity appreciator, which Kincaid Honey is, cool that you got on that giveaway and won the prize. Cool. So when Time Pays Me, Sack, not happening. We don't need your money. We're not for sale. And I think that would be contrary to our principles. So we're lucky to not have to need to take anybody's money. Crypto Class, good to see you. I did an interview on her channel and she rocks. 55 years, that's insane. Also very bullish. Well, I think a lot of people, they might only want to lock a year at a time or several weeks at a time, right? And I would imagine that people will get more comfortable the more they practice and see what the results are. For people who bought Bitcoin at 6 cents, at least one guy I know, and sold at 30, that was selling on a 5x. If he had just time locked 10% of his coins, he would have probably become a millionaire just from that. Even a multimillionaire. I think it would have been, 170 Bitcoins would have been worth it, maybe a couple mil. Let's do the math on that so we can get it straight. Yeah. 5 million. Not bad. Not bad. So I don't think you have to time lock all your coins in order to do well. Do you still need a Trezor once your wallet comes out? So Time Pays Me is going to recommend that you use a Trezor, a hardware wallet where your seed words are never touching the computer that's connected to the internet in that sort of way. I will probably provide instructions for that. Right now, you can go to the link in my description and order a Trezor from my referral link. And appreciate everybody who's doing that. There will be a way to set up a Time Pays Me wallet without using a Trezor, but that it'll be recommended because this is an opportunity for people to get their security right for years to come. And so starting with the right method is it's really beneficial. So yeah, because of the extra checks that we're doing on Time Pays Me, leaving no stone unturned, I do like earlier today I was thinking, might be out in a couple days here and there. I really think we're still at least a week away, but less than 2 weeks. So that's the best guess right now for where we're at, because we are going to get back with the auditors and update them on the one change that they wanted us to make, and then another change that we discovered would be really valuable. So, and that has to do, one, with the ability to lock tokens that are have a weird send tax. The vault would have been off by 0.1%, I believe, and if you had done a second lock with that type of a token, it would have maybe let you withdraw 0.1% early, and that is not the point, right? The point of the vault is for it to time lock exactly what you think it's time locking for exactly the right amount of time. So in these send tax tokens, those would have been only partially compatible with time pays me, and so we made a fix for that to be fully compatible. And then another issue was wanting to make it so that the second seed phrase that that you wouldn't have to have that present with you while you're traveling, let's say, to be able to put the vault into panic mode. And that for a lot of like deeply thought out security reasons, it makes a lot of sense to have actually the public address of the second seed phrase be the password that you need in order to put the vault into recovery mode, even if you're not inside the wallet of the first seed phrase. And so there are nuances like that that we just thought are so important that we wanted to make sure that we had all that spelled out in the code in a way that really makes the most sense from a security standpoint, even though most people will, if they're dealing with thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, they'll be following the other security recommendations that make a lot of sense, like using Shamir, splitting up of your seed phrases. And at the end of the day, I'm probably going to do like a free course on how I would set up time pays me with the highest security known to man, and to make whales and everybody else who wants to swim with the whales, to make everybody super knowledgeable and comfortable with what they're doing. And then you can have that responsibility that you're feeling good about, to run the code the way that you're going to run it. So yeah, there you go. So really looking forward to it. And other than that, my friends, that's really what I've been working on. I've been getting everything ready for the Miami meetup that's happening in like 3 or 3.5 weeks here. I've been working on my physical recovery with my broken collarbone, and trying to get people to understand how cool Time Pays Me is going to be when it launches, keeping up with the PulseChain developments, things looking really good there. And yeah, just really excited and trying to get everything working, get all the blockchain code perfect so that I'll be able to remember the Time Pays Me code. I don't just have to live with that for 55 years. I have to live with that for all of the years, right? And so it's a pretty big commitment, to be married with my reputation to this code. So, even if we don't release it in the next couple days, but we can get everything ironed out in less than 2 weeks, then that'd be really cool to me, because of course I want to use the product to save myself from myself, because I think PulseChain and PulseX, they could do really well. I think they could also dump in the beginning, or they could pump 10x. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'll be sleeping better knowing that my coins aren't going to get hacked, and that I'll be able to save myself from myself. When you extend that logic, it's like, are you going to hack yourself in a way if your emotions or your short-sightedness is getting in the way of your long-term thinking? And so, yeah, I think that there are a lot of cool concepts there that can be figured out. No, that's a good question. So somebody's, I believe, asking like whether somebody could run the function for you to put your vault into recovery mode, and that basically like burns your first life if that's the case. But we that's why we are designing this so that you can actually have your second seed phrase, which the public address hasn't had to touch the blockchain, because that's supposed to be your cold storage wallet that you're not using, that you haven't used for other transactions. And that's a fresh, most secure address possible. And so actually nobody will know that public address of the second seed phrase except for you, which is really cool, because then you don't have to come up with a crummy password that's going to get hacked and you're going to reuse on other websites, and that, that sort of thing. So it's, we've already thought of the idea, people are DDoS attacking, and we actually use our old friend cryptography by encoding what the second seed phrase public address is. That gets encrypted onto the blockchain. And so it's using a hashing function. So that's what the blockchain does, is it can, keep some secrets for you, but then make that provable in the end. And so I really like this comment. You're thinking deeply about what it means to have this game theory in place. And I'm really glad you asked the right question, because that's something ourselves, we were wanting to find the best game theory possible to be able to say that somebody, without having access to their second seed phrase, would be able to put the vault in panic mode, but not anybody in the world without having access could know it. So, if you're traveling, you're going to take the public address with you, or you're going to leave it to a trusted person. And then with any crypto address, having the public address of the first seed phrase and the second seed phrase will unlock the vault. Well, it'll lock the vault and it'll be able to put it into panic mode. So yeah, great question there. Westcott crypto is not whales only. Yeah, cryptographics, good to see you. Hexfetti. So thanks everybody for tuning in here. I really appreciate it. Check out Tangent's space there on Twitter. Let me see if I can find, we'll keep the raid going. How about that? So I'm going to find whether we have somebody on YouTube, or I'll have to share the Twitter Spaces link. Looks like I can't see anybody here that's live at the moment. MicroStrategy. We're not going to raid them. So let me go back on Twitter and find Tangent. Did his Twitter space end? Uh-oh, let me keep looking here. Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Don't leave me hanging there. Gotta validate those things. I'm not even seeing the button for Twitter Spaces. That's weird. I'll have to get some outro music here going. So go down into the description below and get your Trezor. You're going to want to order that ahead of time. Place them back. Looks like maybe Tangent Space ended or crashed or something. Okay, well, it looks like the Twitter Spaces crashed. So I'm not going to send you to a degen place. You can search for your friend Sami or Randy Hilarski. They are streaming every day and are great to follow. So check that out. Crispy Man might start at Twitter Spaces here. So shout out to him, one of the Tuesday night gang. And you can follow him at HexFire.io. or HexFire.io on Twitter. Definitely worth a follow there. So I was also getting an error in my StreamYard earlier, which made it so that I couldn't upload my overlay. Let's see if yep, still a bug there. So, all right, well, in any event, I guess I will throw up Time Pays Me. So stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.